Hey guys, it's Michelle Wennis with Loving Through the Pink. It's been a long time since I've filmed anything for you guys. Um, I've been just getting into the groove of things. I have a couple of different ways that I'm spending my time now. I used to have a lot more free time to make the videos, and now I still do have some downtime, but I'm not really committing to updating you that often. So things are really well. I've been kind of struggling with everybody staying on the right track in terms of diet. So a lot of foods that I didn't want to be eating were introduced to me, and I succumbed to peppermint bark. And somebody made some homemade toffee chocolate. I don't even know what. They brought it into work, which is, I guess, what everybody does. You don't want it in your own home. So that being said, I tried to keep the good foods in my system and just not be so hard on myself in terms of bringing in the other stuff. I did notice that the more I reintroduce the kinds of foods that I've been avoiding, wheat, grains, sugars, I found that I would have more bloating in my body. I would feel more sluggish, and so I'm definitely onto something, trying to eat more healthy foods. I have a few staples that I really rely on, like avocados, and since I discovered smashing them and just adding garlic and salt to them, there's just no end to how much I can eat that, especially when I add lemon and my favorite new fruit, pomegranate. I also still love to saute cabbage and kale and all different kinds of greens in apple cider vinegar. And as far as dairy kind of things, I've thrown dairy out the window, so have been examining things like cashew yogurt, almond yogurt, coconut yogurt, and then just throwing in frozen blueberries and flaxseed, like the milled kind, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, pepitos I just started introducing in there, and unsweetened coconut, dried coconut flakes. And I've also stopped adding in the stevia that I've been putting in and getting used to the different flavors without the sweeteners, so kind of trying to readjust my palate. I haven't been to the social worker in a little while now, and I stopped going to the therapist, but she's always available if I need to reach out and have a difficult time. You know, life after this doesn't change the fact that I'm still a wife and still a mom, and the different pressures of just living and growing with people are always there, and learning opportunities are also there. So we're doing our best to just move through our days as lovingly as we can, as forgiving as we can be with one another when we lose our patience. But we're all, I think, overall in a really good place. It's tricky having a teenager in the house and not responding to that in a sort of defensive way. But we're all, just trying to pray together and encourage each other and give ourselves room to have a bad day. And I think that requires putting yourself aside, and rather than being offended by one another and reacting, just realizing, okay, someone's just having a bad day. And it might seem like the easiest lesson in the world, but it's kind of hard, I find, when it's your own family, because you have higher expectations of one another, because you just give so much more of yourself. And so we're all in a really good place as far as joining a Bible study. Well, my boys and I are. My husband's not able to join. It's a Bible study fellowship, which is for women, and there's a children's program that's attached to that, and it's something that we used to do. It's the first thing that got us into the Word many years ago. You're in a book in the Bible, and you kind of just stick through that book through the entire year. And there are questions that you ponder together as a group, that you learn from the leader of the the chapter that you belong to. And the children have similar questions. They're a little bit more watered down, but you're all kind of in the same place together. So it was a little bit of a struggle to go back in and add that to our schedule. But there's also just freedom in being welcomed back into a family of believers who are just seeking out the Lord earnestly with their families, and there's a lot of good stuff that happens there. I still get to work with kids, like babies through age 4, and I'd updated a lot of people on that. I'm really enjoying the connection that I have with these little people at the daycare / preschool that I'm working at as a sub. So I'm not there every day, but I'm there a few times a week, sometimes half the day, sometimes a full day. And it's exhausting, man. These guys are, I forget how endlessly they can communicate with you day in and day out that you're with them. They have so much to share. So it's kind of energizing and exhausting at the same time, but I love it. And I'm working at a local pewter store that just has a really great environment. I think the things in there, I don't know, there's something about that store that's just nostalgic, and the pewter things are made on site, and they're beautiful, and the people who come in just have a tradition of collecting this stuff, and I think there's just a love for that kind of atmosphere, and the people that I work with are mixed-aged women for the most part. You've got women who are returning from college, and some who are in their senior year of high school, and some who are retired executives, and it's just a nice mix. And I think that women coming together in different age groups just create something really special. So I love going there. It's like a little break. I feel like I get my hospitality hat back on, because I just pretend it's my home, and people come in and I just want to take care of them. And that's one of the things I think that I'm really surprised at. You know, I thought that my whole life was about sharing my God-given gifts through one thing, and I held on to that one thing even though it was painful, and I felt as if I was doing it in my own power, and then I let it go. So that was my little business, Childbirth and Baby and Me. For those of you who aren't familiar, it was the Little Seed program. I also had it under Green Woman and Your Childbirth, and I held on to that, and it was not working anymore. But I just thought, oh my gosh, my identity is all wrapped up in this. Who am I going to be if I let it go? And it turns out the Lord had even better things in store, and I love that it was nothing that I did. These jobs fell in my lap. The schedule fell in my lap. I'm still able to have time to do my devotionals, and it's nice to be able to bring in some income, but it's not like the be-all and end-all of my existence. Like, I do actually get to enjoy being wife and mother, which I had trouble finding time to do peacefully. Like, half my mind was always on that business, and letting it go is the best thing that ever happened. So I'm open to what this year has ahead, 2018. Bring it on. I feel completely in a different place than I was before, much more trusting, much more calm and peaceful and settled about where I am in my life. And I'm so glad that I learned it wasn't really going to be me who was going to necessarily make life happen in a better way. It was just this letting go, and just letting God do his work, and being still so I can actually see it happen. You know, he doesn't owe us proof of anything. He doesn't need us. He just loves us, and I feel that so strongly now. And there's no penance, there's no guilt, there's no I have to work at it. I just feel love just because, and I think it's probably the greatest thing that ever happened with this cancer. I really let go, and I was okay going home to him, and I didn't have to, not this time. So anyway, message for you: early detection. Take care of yourselves. I've got a treadmill that I've got to get on just so I can feel pretty good. It's freezing outside with all the snow, and it's not a good chance to get out there and walk. So I'm going to do it inside, do what I can, and keep eating as healthily as I'm able. And I guess that's it. That's the update for now. Michelle Wennis, Loving Through the Pink. Happy New Year.